Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of Paradigm Shift and Educational Comedy. I'm going to be explaining that most things in life are actually very easy. We're just taught to believe in difficulty, and of course, this needs clarification in order to avoid cognitive dissonance from this statement. And I'm going to be reading off a journal that I wrote, because this video is technically a journal entry. And I decided, all right, well, making a video about this would be like really freaking cool. So yeah, I am going to go ahead and go into screen share mode. Alrighty. So here we are. Article, Mystic Creates Illusions of Difficulty. This was originally a reply to someone, but I looked at it and felt that not only does this stand nicely on its own, but might also make for a good video as well. And says, so I'll probably be doing that. And oh, of course, here you see me doing that. I think for the sake of this video, I'm going to enlarge the font a bit. There we go. Just so it's easier for everybody out there to follow. Most things in life are actually very easy. We're just taught to believe in difficulty. I, of course, need to clarify in order to avoid cognitive dissonance from this statement. Myths we believe in that provide the illusion of difficulty. Number one, if something takes a lot of time, it's difficult. Wrong. Time will pass anyway. Time is actually quantum. How humans view time is a construct called a clock, which doesn't actually exist. The universe existed before clocks. Space-time is also relative to speed, mass, gravity, vibrational frequency, and other factors. The average human has a fictional misunderstanding of what time actually is. Clocks do not measure time. They are a futile attempt to force time to conform to human work schedules. As leap year is proof of, you can't conform actual time to jack shit. Another fun fact. If you have two identical twin brothers and one goes up into space for 5 years, the brother who remained on Earth will be older than the brother who was up in space. As Einstein said, it's all relative. Number two, if something requires a lot of something else, it's difficult. Wrong. It is not difficult to comprehend a beach simply just because there are trillions of grains of sand. But if you believed you had to count each one before you could understand what a beach is, then understanding what a beach is would seem impossible. There being a lot to learn does not always equal hard to learn. This goes back to the first one on the list. If you have a lot of things to learn, each of which are actually easy, then it will take whatever time it takes to learn all of those really easy to learn things. Myth number three, majority rules, the individual has no power. Wrong. Everything everyone takes for granted has always been done by individuals. Majority never rules, as our society is not mature enough nor educated enough for it to rule. It is addicted to being bossed around and passing the buck. No one took a vote to get the majority consensus on whether or not we should invent and implement electricity, light bulbs, the radio, TV, the internet, cell phones, etc., etc. Individuals invented them, implemented them, and marketed them. They became trendy because perceived authority figures that people worship as being supposedly better than they are insisted we should all have it and use it, and so the masses obey as usual. The individual has true power. The individual who knows their power can easily impact change by way of the domino effect or the butterfly effect. Pick your metaphor. All individuals who ever impacted change by way of this effect never impacted it immediately. Everything we take for granted took decades to catch on. Only now in the 21st century, with mass media communications, can the individual inspire something to catch on in years, months, weeks, or days instead of decades. Before instant communication, it always took decades, and sometimes it still does, depending on what someone is attempting to deploy. Myth number 4. Even if items 1, 2, and 3 are true, well, that's everyone else. I am not actually good enough. Wrong. Most people think like this because of the high pressure stress of school, careers, etc. Most people feel overwhelmed because of society's idiotic demands that we must fit into boxes we don't fit into in order to survive. Belief in this lie actually compromises survival. It does not promote personal survival. This idiotic lie is based in fear and panic. It is a biological fact that when we are in a constant state of stress, we are literally scared stupid. Blood flow to the brain is decreased as flow to the extremities is increased by way of the fight or flight mechanism. This biologically makes it impossible for critical thinking to take place, which is why the media pumps us full of 24/7 fear. There is just as much good happening as bad, but mostly the bad is shown because a population that can't think critically can be suckered into buying tons of shit they don't actually need, which makes greedy assholes countless billions of dollars. Increased stress coupled with eating mostly unhealthy garbage cripples the immune system, which is why we see disorders and diseases at an all-time high, never-before-seen epidemic level. When we abuse our bodies, they won't last long. This should be common sense, but these days it's not. Also, under this make billions from fucking everyone over meme, mainstream industry poisons the food, water, air, land, etc., doing to the earth what we're brainwashed by marketing to do to our bodies, which also creates even more stress on our bodies because our bodies need a healthy earth for our bodies to be fully healthy. Just like if you don't clean a dirty turtle tank, the turtles will get sick and then they will die. Same thing with humans and the earth. Point number 5. Well, even if the first 4 are true, you need decades of experience and tons of degrees to be capable and qualified. Wrong. Modern education discourages critical thinking, and if you research into it, you will find that this is admitted to be designed this way on purpose. This is based on the belief that if most people do not question what they are taught, they will be more obedient workers and thus make corporations more profits. Your average 16-year-old in the 1800s had a much higher level of education than your average 40-year-old today because critical thinking was not prohibited, and knowledge was based on passing down career skills that have practical application instead of merely taking standardized tests. The advent of specializations also breaks the career field down into so many tiny pieces that nobody actually knows how to do their jobs anymore, which is also why you see an increasing level of incompetence in every industry. Unless you want to be a brain surgeon or a lawyer, you don't need a degree or specialization. You only need to learn what the fuck you're doing to be able to do it right. Excuse me. Deprogramming the garbage to regain our power. Though the deprogramming process is a bit involved, I will simplify it to its basics. The rest can be researched if researching is something you desire to do. The deprogramming process is a simultaneous utilization of affirmation, knowledge, understanding, feeling, belief, and action. None of these things alone work separately. Affirmations are the same function as how we learn in school, practiced repetition. When we're in school, we feel deeply that we want to learn and we believe that we can. This comes from a desire to improve ourselves. This desire opens our minds to knowledge and understanding. The more we practice our knowledge and understanding, the more efficient we become at putting it into greater and greater action. So the way to deprogram is the exact same way we became programmed in the first place. Only this time, you're in the driver's seat, not the greedy asshole powers who assume they be. Conclusion. Though the semantics of these points could be debated into the ground until hell freezes over and the sun goes nova, such a debate would only validate the overall basic point that this article is making. We are quick to accept difficulty and suffering and slow to accept that we actually can make any difference in this world because we've been taught to become addicted to victimization and justification. Yes, we can make everything harder on ourselves if we want to. And if that's what you prefer to do to yourself, then awesome. Keep doing that then. Get sick and die. However, if you're a person who is already curious about how to figure out how to take personal responsibility because you don't want to become an entitled whiny baby, then this post is for you. It is not for those people who want to remain stuck in their misery. If you want to remain stuck, then remain stuck. Your right to do so is respected, and you will get no arguments from me. Alrighty, so that concludes that. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. That is why I wrote it. So, yeah, that's it. I'm not exactly sure how many minutes have passed, but hopefully this episode is shorter than not. Thank you for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace out.